So today we went to a hotel, a lovely hotel, for the last time, the LUNACY Hotel, which is a beautiful luxury hotel in Cyprus, in LUNACY. And guy on the door, we got to know, and I asked him today, how old are you, and have you got any kids? He said no. I said, how old are you? He says, I'm 39. And I pointed towards my T-shirt, which says, smart people don't have kids. Unfortunately, the T-shirt didn't really apply to him because he wasn't exactly the smartest of cookies, the sharpest knife in the pack. And I kind of started talking to him, and I said to him, do you realize how smart you are? You've managed to get to 39 without having kids. What are you doing? He said, 3 months. He said, soon I'll be finished with the job, and then I'm going to go to Greece and I'll just chill out for the next few months. I said, wow, that's amazing. You realize that, if you had kids, you wouldn't be able to do that. And he said something like, yeah, but if I would have kids, then I'd be leaving a legacy at least. And so I just wanted to talk about this thing that people so often come up with about leaving a legacy.
Yeah, legacy of lunacy is what he's leaving behind, or anyone who leaves anything behind. I mean, even Einstein, what has he really left? What's the legacy? E equals mc squared. How has that helped anybody listening? Can anybody tell me in the comments if E equals mc squared has helped them in their life? And he's meant to be a genius. He's meant to be, left a great legacy for us. How has it helped us? E equals mc squared.
What about the nuclear bomb?
Or the bomb, yeah. It led to a nuclear bomb, his formula. That's the legacy he's left behind.
Isn't it? What about how doesn't it relate to technology and computers? Has that nothing?
No, it's to do with time, I think. Space and time, the cosmos. But I'm saying, how has it helped anyone on the ground here? We may have understood space and time better, but so what? And how has it helped us on the ground here? Hasn't helped us at all, I would say.
There's still war,
famine,
suffering.
It's ridiculous. Hasn't addressed any suffering down on the ground. That's the point I'm making. So that's the greatest, so-called greatest legacy, one of the greatest people that have lived, apparently.
Right?
Apparently.
Forget him. What about the average person leaving it there? What legacy exactly?
Yeah, lunacy.
Person leave behind.
Legacy of lunacy is what they've left behind. Just another version of themselves. What else? Have a look at everybody. How are they different from each other? Your cousin, your brother, have a look at him. What legacy has he left behind? How is that a legacy? His parents had him. Yeah, your brother or your sister. Have a look at them. My family members. What legacy is that? All the nappies, all the shite they've produced, all the shite they consume. But there's the legacy. That's it.
2 poos a year.
Yeah, that's all it is.
2 poos a day.
Produce.
Times, what's that? 360, that's 700 poos a year.
Say.
Times 70.
All the nappies.
49,000 poos.
The tonnage of nappies. All the crap.
And all the crap.
All the crap they need, you see, to keep them alive. All of the crap. And for what? Just another entity, another consumer on the planet. That's all. That's the legacy. But of course, there's got to be a reason for having a child, and that's one of the reasons given. They have to concoct some reason. See, it has to make some value. So what value is there in producing anybody? A body on the planet. What's the value of the body?
That's the legacy of all the faulty genes.
All of it. It's all crazy just to keep the game going. That's all. We're inventing reasons to keep the game going when there isn't any reason. It's mad. When you analyze it, there's no reason at all to keep the game going. What for? Somebody said, so there's people to pay taxes to keep the hospitals open. That's what someone said. When we asked them why, they said, well, if we didn't have any people here, there wouldn't be any taxes paid and the hospitals wouldn't stay open. It's laughable when analysed. See, it's crazy, insane. There is no reason.
And now, of course, now that we've got the internet, then what we're doing, that's our real legacy. So, people have said to me since I've got my diagnosis of 4 months ago, you've got to, you better create some stuff to leave some legacy videos for your children. Yeah. About, I don't know what, right? This is my legacy to my children. This is my legacy to anybody to listen to this. If it's any use to you, good. If it's not, then move on and find something else to listen to. But now you've got the internet. You don't need to leave a legacy of, and leave a whole trail of disaster behind you, leave a whole trail of trash. You know, the average person can fill up a whole house full of their trash from a year. I don't know what there is. There's statistics on the internet about how much rubbish a person accumulates. And that includes me. How much rubbish, how much crap, how much suffering, how much tears, it's all wasted. And it all ends up in death anyway. So what type of legacy? You're leaving a legacy of death, a legacy of suffering, a legacy of mental illness, madness, and a legacy of all that waste, all those gadgets. Can you imagine all the gadgets now? People who are born now, there are thousands of gadgets throughout their lives. And for what? So that they can take some pictures of themselves and put it on Instagram.
Yeah, of course. The podcast is the legacy. This is it. We're transmitting truth. Each podcast is a child. But that's it. We've given birth to entities. That's what it is. What's the difference? Why does it have to be a human carcass that carries the data? The podcast is a data. Every podcast we're releasing, that's a child. That's a container. That's a vessel of information that will live on when we're gone. That's it. It's very simple. It's not eating anything. It's not requiring anything. It's just a little entity that contains data. Each podcast, you click on it, you hear us speaking. Well, after we're gone, you click on it and you hear us speaking. That's the legacy. What better than that? What cleaner than that? Why leave a person behind? The person is not going to be speaking the truth. Your child is not going to be speaking the truth. It won't even understand. It won't discover the truth. It's so difficult to discover the truth, as we've said in many other podcasts. See, most people are not Homo sapiens here, so they're not going to be speaking the truth. Nothing. They're going to be on Netflix or on Instagram or on TikTok, seeding dysfunction. That's what it is, these platforms. In the hands of idiots, it's just a platform for seeding dysfunction. That's all. So the podcast, that's it. It's the best legacy we can possibly leave for humankind. This is it. For sure, people are going to be listening to this en masse later, and we'll be acknowledged as prophets, because we are. This is the truth.
Yeah, but before you get too excited about that, right, let's not forget that a prophet, firstly, the word prophet in Hebrew, navi, comes from the root to see. That's all it is. Prophet is just somebody who sees, who can see things happening into the future, right? Which is basically what we're saying. We're saying that this is going to happen. You know, if you have a kid, right, this is what's going to happen. Look into the future, because that kid is either going to be sick when they're born, is going to be screaming and crying the minute they come out of the womb, right, in terror, right? He's going to spend their first year or two not knowing what the hell's going on when you leave the room, screaming and crying, hungry, in pain. You don't know what the pain is. And then all the other rubbish starts. And then you're going to send them to get brainwashed by the government, and on and on and on it goes. And then if things go to plan, whatever that means, and, you know, often they don't, maybe they'll end up being 75-year-old and getting some horrible illness or getting some dementia, right? And polluting the place as you go along, and yes, there'll be some nice moments, and they might make a difference to other people's lives. They might make a positive difference to other people's lives. So what? It doesn't matter. You don't need to have your own. So, you know, yes, prophet, it's all very nice to say prophet, but let's not forget, all a prophet is somebody who can see clearly. And that's all we're claiming, is that we can see clearly through this world, through this game, through this meaningless game, this cruel game, which is dripping with exploitation and suffering. That's all. And don't forget that we're doing poos just like everybody else, right? And our poos smell just like everybody else. So it's no big deal to be a saint. I'm sorry to have to say that. Yeah, I'm not a saint. It's no big deal to be a prophet, right? And we don't. And as we know, you know, we're probably, you know, if this takes traction, it's unlikely to do it before we die. You know, so yeah, and so let's not forget, we're still humans, unfortunately. We've still got that problem of being humans in this putrid flesh.
Yeah, I would push back on that and say it is a big deal to be a prophet. It's a massive deal. It's so difficult to wake up here. We're immersed in a game that doesn't want us to wake up. DNA's controlling it. It's doing everything in its power to keep, the code is keeping you asleep. That's what it does. It wants to keep the game continuing. So it's a massive deal to wake up. And we're not born from superhuman stock. We're just ordinary guys that have put a lot of work into waking up. We put a lot of work. We had children ourselves. We were immersed. We didn't know what we were doing originally, and we've had to push back and, through counterintelligence work, pushing back against our own programming, going against our own grain, we've managed to wake up. It's tantamount to a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That's what it is. I used that analogy before because it is a massive deal. It's massive. It's even more than that. We're not programmed to be butterflies. We're programmed to be caterpillars. So somehow we've managed to push off that programming and emerge as a different creature, which is a prophet. Nobody's born prophets. We have to work hard. Jesus had to work hard. Buddha had to work hard. They had to work hard to wake up. Very difficult. Everyone's against you. Your family, all the peers, all the culture, the whole thing. DNA itself, nature, blah, blah, blah. It's massive. So it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And once you've woken, you have to be confident. You have to be confident and assert yourself, because you'll be crushed if not, because the weight is all against you. As I said, you can't be on shaky ground and humble. You'll be rolled over by the whole culture and everybody and all your family members and everything. So you have to assert yourself. Once you wake up, you have to demarcate your ground and hold your ground. That's why I'm saying that now, you see, with confidence. We are prophets. Based on what we're saying, people in the future will recognize us as prophets. They look back at these podcasts and say, my God, look at these guys. In the dark ages, they were speaking this. Now people, in the future, people will wake up for sure. They have to, even if it's through pressure, even if it's through wars. And they finally realize, my God, we shouldn't bring children into this. This is madness. See, that might do it. But we've woken up without this pressure. See, we've just woken up. We've applied pressure to ourselves. That's all. We've made the mistakes as well, so we're no different to anyone else initially. But now we are different. There's a big difference now. See, most people don't get this. When we're talking to them, they just don't get it at all. It's impossible for them, as we were before. See, so it's a big deal to evolve. Evolution is not given. It's not a given. It's a counterintelligence struggle. Very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to push back on that. Sorry about that. I do feel, and I think one of the reasons why I push back on that is because I don't think I had a choice. Yeah, I think it's a kind of luck. I didn't have a choice. I didn't to choose to see this. It was presented to me, and because of my nature, I don't know why, but because of my nature, I couldn't unsee it, and I couldn't find fault in the idea. It was presented to me, and that was it. I don't feel like I had to work hard to get this. So I would disagree with that, and just say, I think it's sometimes easy to get caught up with the person, with the ad hominem, so to speak, to get caught up with the person. And I encourage people to just stick to the material. And, someone that I know who's got 5 children, and is very fond of myself and my brother and my family. She was listening to the podcast, and she said something like, I've been listening to the first, she really disagreed with a lot of stuff that we're coming out with, especially anti-natalist. She said, I listened to the first podcast, and I really, really agreed with the first bit of it. And then you said something that I really disagreed with. And I said to her, yeah, good. If you don't, whether we are prophets or not, or whether we are seeing things clearly or not, certainly, even if we are seeing things clearly, we're still making mistakes every day. We made a bit of a blunder today. which I'm not going to go into. But so yeah, we're still making mistakes. We're still human, and listen to this podcast with very critical ears always. That's something that you've taught me that I find very difficult sometimes when I'm in the presence of people with a lot of charisma. It's very difficult for me not to take what they said on board, and I've been fooled by dozens of people over the years. So I would just recommend that everybody listening to anything that we've said here, judge it on its merits.
Yeah, and the fact that you say we make mistakes and we have to course correct, this is the hard work I'm talking about. It's daily practice, very difficult work. See, you're constantly making mistakes because the animal body is pulling you back. That's it. There's a pull, a massive pull to continue with the behavior that you've been, accustomed to, coded to perform. So you have to keep on checking yourself. And when you veer off, you have to pull yourself back again. Veer off, pull yourself back again. Veer off, pull yourself back again. This is the work I'm talking about. It's hard work. Most people don't want this hard work. It's too difficult. They'd rather just relax and watch Netflix. This is the pull. This is the hard work I'm talking about. It doesn't come to us easy. See, I push back again. We've had to work very hard to keep ourselves out of the quagmire. First to pull ourselves out and then to maintain, to keep ourselves out. We're being pulled back in. There's a suction. There's a force pulling us back. It doesn't want us to wake up. It doesn't want us to escape. It wants us to stay with the pack, stay in the flock, stay with the program, stay in the box. See? There has to be force applied to stay out. First to get out, then to stay out. It's massively difficult. It's a daily practice, 24/7, 365. I call it counterintelligence. It is. You're going against your own grain because nature doesn't want you to wake up. It's programmed us to stay asleep, to follow the pack, reproduce, keep the game going. That's it. So it's a massive struggle. It is a struggle. We're not coded to wake up. There's no code to wake up. You say, how did we do it? Well, we were seekers. We were seekers. We wanted the truth. We were seeking for something. We were uncomfortable. That's what happened. And it pushed me on my part. I wanted to find the truth. What are we here for? You asked the question when I met you. What is really going on? That's the seeking. You already had the question out. You had it on your t-shirt or on a poster. What is really going on? And I answered it. It's a diabolical DNA con. That's what's really going on. And there it is, bang. See, now when you realize that, don't think you're out the woods. You're being pulled back in so many ways, back into the box again. See, and you have to fight daily to remain out and to forge even to go further. You have to keep on evolving all the time. You have to keep on. Even if you see the summit, you have to get there. You see the summit and you have to get there, and you're being pulled back down to the lower base camps all the time, constantly. It's this constant struggle. And most people haven't got it. They haven't got the ability to keep going, keep pushing on. It's too much and they break, or they just simply give up. It's easier to give up. It's easier to fall in line. Just watch Netflix. What's the big deal? We're going to die anyway. See, it's very difficult. See, that's why I say we're prophets. We're committed to the path. We're committed. We're not going backwards. We're not giving up. We keep on like this. The podcasts are there and there'll be more coming and we won't stop. See, we realize it's a long game. It's a long game. We're fighting DNA. We're fighting life itself. It's very difficult. See, that's why I call it Abolitionism 2.0. The first part was to get rid of slavery. That still hasn't been removed. Now the second part is to get out of the prison. Is to completely remove ourselves from this existence, from this flesh suit that we're in. And that's it. That's our legacy. That's what we'll leave behind. At least we show the exit. Before we die, the exit will be clearly demarcated for everyone who's coming, and then they can choose. There it is. They've got a choice now. They won't have to struggle so hard because we've already done the work and we've laid it out for them. Here it is. Just don't reproduce. You've already got the child within. Why breed when you've already got a child within to feed? You've already got the one. There it is. Once you get that, you'll see it. Raise yourself properly and you won't need to raise anyone else. You won't need to produce anyone else to raise because you've already done the job of parenting yourself. That's it. Game done.